Hi reception, thank you for joining me again. Okay, so at the end of my last video, I started to think about, was this change reversible or not? And we said that yes, you could melt the ice cream, so you could take it from being cold and hard and solid, you could leave it to melt, and then it would turn back to the mixture we made at the start, didn't we? That was liquidy and runny. So I think we're right, that part is reversible. But I also said, well, are all parts of the experiment reversible? Are all stages of making the ice cream reversible? Now, let me show you what activity you're going to do today, and then perhaps we might be able to answer that at the end of the video. Okay, so I have sent home a grid for you to use and some photographs. Now, you can print these off, or if you want, you could draw it at home and draw the pictures to match. Or you could just get the pictures on screen and you could use this to talk through it with your helper. Okay, so let me show you what I've sent home. Now, let's move it over a tiny bit. It's a bit closer. Okay, so on this grid, we've got two main parts to our table. It says at the start it was, and then it says now it is. And in the middle, we've got an action column to show what we did to make the change. And here we've got our three main ingredients: the cream, the raspberries, and the icing sugar. There it is in the sieve. Then we did something to those ingredients, didn't we? And they changed. So let me find, where's my pen? Here we go. Okay, so let's start with the cream. So what did we do to the cream to change it at the start? Can you remember? That's right, we had to whip it, didn't we? We used a whisk to whip it up, or you could say mix. I'm going to say whip. So we whipped it, and then it changed. Now what I'd like you to do at home is to find the picture that shows what it looks like after the change. I've got one here, look. There it is. It's stopped being liquidy. It's got thick. It doesn't run anymore. It has changed because it had been whipped up and all the air had been added to it, and that's how the change happened. Now, what did we do to the raspberries? Can you remember? That's right, we crushed them, didn't we? So we had to squash or crush them. So we crushed the raspberries and they changed. They no longer looked like this. They looked more like that, didn't they? They went all sloppy. The juice came out, the seeds came out. Instead of being in separate little individual raspberries, they become one big raspberry mush, didn't they? And they were a bit more runny. You could slop them around. So we crushed them. So that was a change. Now, the icing sugar, what was that like at the beginning? Can you remember? Yeah, it was a bit lumpy, wasn't it? A mixture of lumps and fine bits of icing powder. So then we put it in a whisk, or I put it in a whisk, and then it changed. And here's a picture of it being added to the bowl. It's a bit tricky to see, but now the icing sugar hasn't got any lumps in it. It's really, really powdery. So what action did we do to get it like that? That's right. We used a sieve, didn't we? We sieved it, I suppose we could say, sieved it. So those are the things we did to make these changes. And I've also got some pictures of the ice cream mixture, how it was before we put it in the freezer, and what it was like afterwards. And we can see again, there's been some big changes, hasn't there? So what action did we do? We froze it, didn't we? Put it in the freezer. So they could go on the bottom. So I'm just going to quickly pop them on the bottom so you can see them here as well. Now, I agree. There we go. This part is reversible. But here's my question to you. What about these stages? So when we made the ice cream, we used the mixture, didn't we? The mixture was made up of these ingredients and they were all combined together. Now, if we got some of this sloppy mixture again, do you think we could pick out the icing sugar? No. Could we make the cream go all runny again and take out all the raspberries from it and get it back to being white again? No. Could we take this raspberry mush and squash it back into these individual berries? No. So this part isn't reversible. That's irreversible. That's permanent. You can't get the raspberries back to what they were at the start. We can't get the cream back to this, the right colour, without the ice and sugar all mixed in, because the ice and sugar has disappeared. So I think, reception, that the answer to our question is actually not very straightforward. I think it's got two answers. Or actually, I think the answer is some of it is a reversible change. Because yes, you can get the ice cream, the frozen ice cream, back to the ice cream mixture, but you can't get the ingredients out of the mixture. So goodness me, haven't we done some grown-up science today? I think we have. What I'd like you to do today at home is to think about the changes we saw. I'd like you to set your pictures out like this and talk about how we brought about the changes. And then I want you to see if you can remember what they were like at start and how they changed. Okay. And then perhaps you could have a little chat about this question as well once the video is finished with your helper at home. All right then, everybody. Well, thanks for joining me today. I've had lots of fun making ice cream. And as I say, if you'd like to have a go at making the ice cream, I have sent the instructions as well on the bottom of the one of the attachments for today's work. Okay, so I'm going to go eat the ice cream now before I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to go eat it. I hope you have fun. I hope you enjoyed watching how we make ice cream, and I will see you very soon. Okay, bye, reception.